Greetings. You are watching Psychopomps Incorporated, a 5th edition Vampire the Masquerade actual play chronicle here on Martlet Games. I am Patrick, the storyteller for this wonderful group of ladies you see on the screen. But before we begin, Vampire the Masquerade is a game of personal, political, and supernatural horror. This show will contain sensitive content up to and including physical and social violence, gaslighting, loss of character agency, and psychological harm. This show in particular focuses on the Hecata, and it goes without saying, certain parts of the family also comes with its own set of content warnings of a sexual nature, but we will not be spending our time dwelling there. We have discussed table consent and boundaries, and will be communicating in private channels for vibe checks or to pause and redirect a scene. If you in the audience at any point are feeling uncomfortable with what you are watching, please do not hesitate to step back or step away from the episode entirely. Brief recaps will be given at the beginning of every episode, and we will do our best to fill you in on the side as needed. And now, let us pull back the veil and introduce the players this evening, starting with Rosie.
Hello, I'm Rosie, and tonight I will be playing Celia Greenwood, the Samedi.
And Kat.
Hi, my name is Kat. I will be playing Cherubina Orsini, a Giovanni.
And Zoe.
Hi, I'm Zoe. Tonight I'm going to be playing Nix, the Flesh Eater.
And as you can see, this is a all Hecata coterie. We have a prime opportunity to have some fun, tell some spoopy stories here, and get to show off my second favorite clan in Vampire. It's always been the Cappadocians. The Giovanni, I knew they were just a passing thing. And now things are as they should be. The Hecata have been reunited in the Three Faces of Death. And it just so happens we have a pretty good representation here on the screen. But now it is time to tell a haunted vampire story. Every city has its ghosts. Every city has its long-forgotten, but still bitter past lurking in its wake. And that's where Psychopomps Incorporated comes in. Nomadic life of a kindred is itself no easy feat, but when you are expected to travel the country at the behest of clan and sire, with maybe a dash of personal safety thrown in for good measure, things can get interesting. The latest hot tip wasn't delivered by ghoul or ghost, kindred or clan. It was from a mortal, a kine. Part of the coterie's day job is to travel among them, con who they can about a dead family member, and take off with whatever they can. However, when you are of the Hecata, you don't have to resort yourself to cold reading or table wrapping mechanisms when you can just talk to the stubborn dead bastard yourself. And sometimes the coterie finds some things worth more than money. Or are given a nudge by their patron to be on the lookout for certain things in certain parts of the country if they happen to be passing through. Now, you are all parked outside of Opal Chapelweigh's manor in Shreveport, Louisiana. Opal Chapelweigh's dear husband Reginald III has recently died under suspicious circumstances. And when you come from money as old as the Chapelweighs, you know people who know people. The Psychopomps are known to be discreet and effective in certain circles, both in kindred and kind society. And it is because of this they find themselves parked here tonight, in the rain, at midnight, discussing the plan. Or plans. The coterie has been contracted, of course, to get to the bottom of dear Reginald's passing. But a certain Semeti that Celia is very familiar with dropped them a line that be on the lookout for a certain family heirloom when you swing by the Chapelweighs. He simply said you'll know it when you see it because of the dead things surrounding it. And did we take the drive around minivan to the Chapelweighs, or are we working Roma fashion out of the RV that the coterie considers its haven?
I would say the minivan.
The minivan?
Sure.
Okay.
Mhm.
The minivan has seen, we'll say, a very checkered past in its lifespan here. The last stop before the coterie got their claws and fangs on it was a transportation vehicle for a Giovanni-owned funeral home. The coterie itself, being undead, don't need to breathe. But if they were to lower themselves to such mortal banality, they would definitely get that twinge of formaldehyde that just can't quite get out of the upholstery. You can see there, though, there's normally in the back of these vehicles there is some kind of a support rack for the casket itself that has been stripped out, and the back of the minivan, it's been repurposed to be a passenger vehicle. But you're all sitting there, parked out in the rain. It's cold, and that is a very valid point there. I just now got our Zoom chat. I see that. Thank you. Now, the out here in the minivan, though, it's cold. If anyone has bothered to use Blush of Life, maybe there's some fog, maybe generating inside. That being said, you all start off at Hunger 1. I'll be nice, and we won't have you do rouse checks for the night. So we're going to go ahead and start off with 1. But the coterie here, you're kind of taking in the scenery. The manor itself looks like maybe the facade maybe has started off in the 1920s, and as maybe the family came into their fortune over time, it just kept getting added on to, and so now the building is a weird mishmash of different architectural styles, with the latest addition being a rather ostentatious, almost abutment that sticks off of the rear of the house that you would have seen pulling up along the street. It actually is about half the size of the house itself. It definitely it looks like a tick just sitting there. But you all are gathered here to figure out the game plan. So far, the only point of contact that the coterie has had has been with our dear Opal. The coterie was to come to the house at the appointed time, which is in roughly the next 15 minutes. But they were to discuss the try to make contact with Reginald to see what exactly caused Reginald to croak. He was in good health as far as Opal knew. No bad habits. It's strange that he would just suddenly keel over and die. He's the pinnacle of health for 78. But he was. There were some circumstances that Opal wasn't quite keen to deliver over the phone regarding dear Reginald, and so that should definitely be at the forefront of the coterie's plans going forward as far as what they might be walking into. The Chapelweighs themselves have the reputation of being a bit eccentric. The family got their money initially, kind of tagging along in the Banana Republic experiments back in the early 1900s, and grew with the times. Now the Chapelweighs own a considerable portfolio across a broad spectrum of interests and sectors in the economy. So you know that there is a large amount of money at stake in regards to Reginald's death. So that does bear some cause for deliberation. And now I will turn the scene over to the coterie here inside the RV as they are discussing.
So, how do we want to work this one?
My idea is that Reginald died because something with the family heirloom.
Right.
That's an idea. That's an idea that I had the minute I heard that the cherished family heirloom was haunted. That was an idea. Maybe pissed off the ghost that's attached to it, fed her, whatever.
Well, it seems to me the simplest thing would be to have Celia distract them while we search for this fetter. Figure out where it's located in the house.
Could always say that Reginald is asking about the heirloom. Where is the heirloom?
Yes, but then they'll be keeping an eye on it. It's harder to walk away with something when you just asked about it. So you don't think we need much of a smokescreen on this then, Cherubina?
No, exactly. We didn't... Storyteller, who asked... Yeah. Who talked to Opal?
Let's see here. We never really actually settled on who the face of the group was. It would probably stand to reason that, I don't know, Cherubina, you probably, being the Giovanni out of the group, even, there's still some family prejudice at work here. Even after the reunion and the younger generations being a little more open-minded and a little more willing to throw aside the old prejudices of their sires and their sire's sire. There's still certain things that are expected of the Giovanni, though. They share the power now, but Cherubina still has a certain responsibility she must bear among the group. So Cherubina, you would have been the initial point of contact here. we can go ahead and whatever information that you would like to know in character that you would have liked to have discussed over the phone with Opal, we can definitely cover that now.
Yes, please.
Yes. So we won't play out the conversation, but you can just go ahead and fire off some questions that you have that you want to know in character, and I'll be more than happy to answer however Opal would have presented the information.
You said at the beginning that Opal was not explained that she needed to know how her husband died, because it was suspicious.
Yes.
And that she didn't we could, one of us, or I guess she put it on speakerphone with everybody around to listen on, even though she was doing the talking. And I'm gonna say maybe Celia picked up on the fact that, or Nick picked up on the fact that you could tell that she wasn't super forthcoming with a lot of information, or she left the stuff out with hesitation in her voice.
Yeah, there. You could say that any attempt that you would have made to dig for any information that she would have been reluctant to pass up or pass along, she would. It would have started off with initial passive stonewalling, but then there might have been a nudge, wink, wink. Like, should we really be talking about this over the phone?
So it's more like we need to dig for information.
Opal would be willing to part with the fact that he was found alone. And he was found alone in the bathroom. Blunt force trauma to the back of the head. There's other things that she is not willing to share with you over the phone, though.
Okay.
I would want to know how long he had been deceased.
He had been found dead. It would have been in just before bedtime, and the last person who saw him alive was Opal, and she left the house to go have an early bird dinner with some friends. She left around 5. And she came home right before 10 o'clock, and that's when she found Reginald in the bathroom.
I meant, has he been dead a week?
Has
he been
yes.
Dead 2 days? Because I got CSI shit.
Yes. He has been dead for several weeks, and he's been buried. He's been buried now for the past 5 days. So he died 2 weeks ago, buried 5 days ago. There were multiple autopsies, toxicology reports, etc., that multiple interested parties in the family had requested. The reason why, and Opal would have been honest and open about admitting this, the main reason why you all are being brought in is because of the fact that he's dead, or he died. There's reason to suspect foul play, and one of the people who stands to inherit from the estate could have possibly murdered Reginald, and the lawyers privately want to have this handled as much out of the public eye as possible, and just because it would be such a huge scandal. And so now that's why Opal was the one who made the phone call, but there might be other family members who would have a vested interest in the outcome of the night's proceedings, both for and against finding this information out.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there any chance that during the processing of Reginald's body, that he passed through whatever morgue Nyx has found herself working in while they've been in the city? Is there any chance? She probably wouldn't have known. She wouldn't have known seeing him at the time, but is there any way she might remember seeing someone like him and anything odd she might have noticed about the body?
Why don't you go ahead here and roll me why don't you roll me wits and medicine?
Okay. 4, 5, 6. Can I add an extra die for my medicine specialty, cadavers?
Yes, you may.
Perfect.
First roll of the chronicle.
That is 5 successes.
Using
my fancy dice spot. That's how I knew that so fast.
There we are. Let's see here. I would say that you all have been in Shreveport for a couple of days. Actually, give me a moment here.
Sure.
Let me ponder the timeline of events. You're throwing me for a loop. I wasn't quite expecting this question here, but this is fine. I got this. Let's say that the coterie has been in town. They got the call the day of the funeral. And the coterie was... Yeah, so... Nyx herself was not already plugged in by the time the body got done processing. That being said, she had access to the records. Okay? So, we can say here that you might have kept an eye out. Okay?
Okay.
And you found that he was missing some blood. He wasn't exsanguinated by any means, but he was definitely anemic when he died, which may have contributed to... I mean, it's on 5 successes. It stands to reason, like, you can make some conjectures as to what might have happened. Okay. He was possibly anemic, had some other cardiovascular condition, and that caused him to faint. He passed out in the bathroom. He hit his head on the vanity. Case closed. Alternatively, you know that the Chapelweights do run in some weird circles. Stands to reason that the family patriarch conveniently dying and having it made to look like an accident, when, according to Opal, he was the pinnacle of health. Something doesn't add up there. Something definitely is fishy. You need more hands-on, either with the body or there in the house, to get more information.
Okay. Perfect.
I'm see, and this is all set up and prep for the actual main heist here. So this is fine. We can definitely spend this time setting this up.
Oh yeah, I play a
Yes.
lot of Shadowrun.
Yeah,
This is necessary.
yeah. So
Unless we want to pink mohawk it,
no, thank you.
but I don't think that would work.
No. All right. So that being said, now that we have established the timeline when the coterie got into town, does anyone actually want to consider exhuming the body? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
I mean,
Oh,
that would be most useful
absolutely.
to me. But storyteller, I have a question regarding
Yes.
my Child of the Baron lore sheet CSI shit. It does not list a timeline in which I need to have seen the corpse to actually make anything useful out of it.
You are correct. And that is because you're Samedi. You come from a bloodline that before the family reunion, you all were walking, talking corpses. The Nosferatu think they've got it bad. The Samedi look like literal rotting corpses, and it gets worse the older and more powerful they get. Post-family reunion, however, the Samedi are able to, by and large, appear as any other normal individual. But part of the Samedi lore sheet is indeed the CSI shit, and it does not specify the timeline. So we can actually, if the coterie's fine, we can divert. We can do a little flashback preamble here. Do we want to go ahead and play out Exhuming the Corpse?
Down with the flashback.
I'm flexible.
I'm good with that.
I'm flexible.
Yeah, if we, when we're on the phone with Opal, Celia would politely say, it would have been more convenient if you had contacted us before the burial, but I believe we would like permission to exhume your husband's remains.
Oh well, I think that's, given the circumstances, I think that's agreeable. Just
Thank you for your understanding.
we just won't say anything to the rest of the family now, will we? I'll make sure that they don't know a thing. And you just be quick about it, and I will see you when it's time.
Pipe in. I go, I know of a discreet funeral home that can assist.
Oh, I would be more than welcome to take whatever support you are willing to bring to bear to help resolve this mess. Definitely do whatever you need to do. I will make sure that the groundskeepers there at the cemetery know that things are going to be on the up and up, and you do what you need to do to make sure that the paperwork checks out. The last thing I need is a concerned cousin, or son, or grandchild throwing a tizzy.
We are professionals. We've done this before. You have nothing to worry about.
And that is why I've contacted you. And that is why you've come so highly recommended. But by all means, do what you need to do, and I will see you when it is time. And we will divert to the cemetery. So, I like this little twist that we took. This is nice. I'm flexible, I'm fun, I'm free. But did someone want to say something? It sounded like someone wanted to say something.
Ask in chat.
Yes, you were in Louisiana.
Okay.
Yes.
Then is it Shreveport that they bury above ground, or is that only
New Orleans?
Because of the water level?
Yeah, because of the water level.
New Orleans, I believe, just New Orleans. I don't
Yeah.
know about. Okay, I don't want to say definitively that Shreveport also doesn't do the above ground, just because I don't know. I'm assuming that they don't.
I assumed the Chapelweights would have a mausoleum.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. The Chapelweighth do have a mausoleum. Yes. So yes, the groundskeeper wouldn't need to be involved. All right, so we are. We've taken the minivan over to the Chapelweight family mausoleum. Now, the mausoleum itself here sits kind of tucked back behind some magnolia trees. This cemetery goes way back, almost to the city's founding. So lots of old stories, lots of old bones here in this place of the dead, this necropolis. Now, the grounds themselves are well tended to. This place definitely does bear historical significance, and it does have some its fair share of sightseers during normal business hours, and of course at night when the kindred are most active, it is closed to the public. That being said, the groundskeepers were there to let you in through the gate. Now, Cherubina, just for this the sake of narrative here, we'll say that you were able to exert some control on your local contacts to be able to at least get some temporary as needed paperwork made up to get this to happen.
I have something that I hold on to all the time for this. I just type in little things.
Yep, and it's just, I mean, the form itself, it's pretty simple and straightforward from state to state. It's, it's boilerplate. It's simple stuff. So the mausoleum itself is made up out of real thick, rough-cut gray stone. The front doors are, black wrought iron with the Chapelwaith family name engraved above the entryway here. The door itself, I mean, it's thick, it's sturdy. This thing was designed to keep people out who weren't supposed to be in here. Unsure of exactly how many Chapelwaiths are here in this mausoleum, but you're gonna find out one way or the other. So the minivan does. You pull up to the mausoleum there. Are we gonna have any banter here? Any discussion?
Oh.
I guess there's spirits all around us right now.
Yes, I would like to turn on Sense the Unseen.
Okay. With this here,
And that's a Wits and Aspects pool.
yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and roll it off, and we'll see what can be seen here. I mean, you're obviously gonna see ghosts. It's just
What kind, really?
Yeah.
Or if there's anything hostile.
Mm-hmm.
2 successes.
How many? 2?
2.
2? Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So with 2 successes, you do get a sense of your vision passing through something almost physical. Your eyes drift through a thin veneer. It's almost like looking through cheesecloth, but it passes through, and the world around you takes on, a very gray, dull, very dead feel. The trees around you appear to be almost withered skeleton hands just sticking up out of the ground. There are some ghosts wandering back and forth. They all seem to pay the group no mind at all, at least for now. Whenever it comes to the Hecata and the spirit world, the two go hand in hand, and whether or not you've had a ghost trailing you since the last city, just looking for the prime moment to take advantage of you having your guard down, or whether there's someone here who just simply can sense the fact that you're a kindred and doesn't like you. There's a certain unspoken risk for the Hecata to go into a cemetery in the first place.
Well, if I had a nickel for every single spirit that didn't like me.
Yeah, the flesh eaters have they have their own particular flavor of necromancy. Every part of the family has their own historical interpretation on things, and the flesh eaters have long been Nyx. Something like a place like this isn't entirely out of the ordinary for your bloodline. The flesh eaters have long been considered guardians of places like this, whether it was out of a sense of the need to protect the spirit world or the need to dominate and control and consume. The Nagaraja have always made places like this their domain. But we are outside the Mausoleum. There's nothing directly threatening the coterie here, Celia, that you can tell. There is a very heavy pallor that seems to just ooze across the Mausoleum, though. This place is bad news.
We should be careful. This is a little heavier than the rest of it. It's not great here.
Right. Of course. 1 second, and Nyx is going to close her eyes and reach out herself across the whole cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to use Where the Shroud Thins. Vampires with an affinity for oblivion can sense locations where the shroud between the world of the living and the Shadowlands thin. Out of game, I have an inkling that this place probably has a very thin shroud. But the benefit is that if I am successful and figure out just exactly how thin it is, future Oblivion rolls will have lower difficulty for us, depending on the thickness.
Yes.
Can I help with that?
This is an Oblivion power. I don't think you can assist.
I mean, I have it too. I have the
Ooh.
same ability.
Hold on a second. What page of Blood Gods is that on?
205.
Thank you.
Staring right at it.
Thank you. Okay. This is a ritual.
It's a...
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at the time frame here. Okay, yeah, there really isn't any time frame on this. Tell you what. If the two of you, I've got no problem if Cherubina wanted to assist Nyx with this ritual here. And it is something that you can just internalize. Cherubina can definitely, maybe you put your hand on Nyx's shoulder, or you make some sort of physical contact with Nyx to maybe add some of your own connection to the Oblivion.
Yep.
To help Nyx out here. So Nyx, go ahead, make your rouse check.
That is a failure. That's fine. We're around a lot of food.
We are around a lot of food.
For me, anyway.
Yeah, you're...
I mean, we're all grave robbers. It's a buffet.
That's true. Why?
Yeah. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with y'all's beast yet. So, for now, we'll just say that you feel that familiar sting as your fangs, your teeth themselves change into serrated edges, almost involuntarily. Biologically, the Nagaraja have all sorts of different ways that their teeth they're either concealed like normal fangs, or you just have the unlucky misfortune of your teeth changing after the embrace. But yeah, your teeth rip through, and you taste blood in your mouth. But you can now go ahead and make your roll. You are now at Hunger 2, Nyx.
Okay. What do I get for being
it's
helped?
Wits and Oblivion. You can go ahead and add a die.
Okay.
I'm touching
It's
you.
gonna
I'm
be
like, you got this.
Dice. Just Nyx just making a face as her fangs start to lengthen. That's 4 successes.
Very nice. All right, because it was difficulty 3. On a win, may determine the density of the shroud in the nearby area. Okay. Tell you what. Let's see. The shroud is thin here at the Mausoleum. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, at least I'm assuming you were focusing on the Mausoleum, or were you wanting to find a place in particular? Because this is going to be more site specific since you're in a cemetery.
Yeah, the Mausoleum's
Okay.
fine. I imagine if we're trying to do anything, it's going to be there. So
Yeah.
that's what she's trying to get a sense for.
Yep. So yeah, you so now that Nyx has reached maybe your eyes are closed and you reach your hand out and you just kind of touch the air and you see the rest of the group as Nyx's finger pokes the air. You get a sense of the air becoming thicker, and mist seems to just convalesce around the building and pull away, and you can tell here that the Mausoleum itself has a lot of negative spiritual energy around it. A family like the Chapelweighs, there's probably literal skeletons in a closet somewhere. But for the group here, any Oblivion rolls that you make for the rest of the scene are at -1 difficulty.
Ooh, nice.
And I think Nyx grins as she senses it, showing her fangs that it had lengthened, and says, "Oh, the shroud is delightfully thin here, sisters. This should make things easier for us going forward."
Glad for that.
So the door itself, you can tell that there's a heavy chain and padlock that is normally wrapped around the hand or the handles here for the door, but someone has been kind enough to unlock the padlock. The chain is just kind of dangling impotently from one of the handles there. Who's going to do the honors and open the door?
I'll push it open.
That sounds good.
Okay.
While you guys were doing the ritual, Celia was just sitting on the ground. She's not in full costume right now. She's wearing like a sort of peasant top and jeans. And what time of year is it?
We'll go. We will say late summer, early fall.
Okay. And just a pair of sensible flats. And she's just sitting on the ground, and while you were doing the ritual, she's pulled out a regular deck of cards and is playing solitaire. And once you guys look to be done, she'll put that back in her pocket and get up and follow you in.
So,
Celia.
so Cherubina, you reach your hand out, and you grab the handle of the door, and you pull, and it will not budge. And you
Push it.
You push it. It's also not moving.
Or something behind it.
Huh.
Is there a special mechanism, maybe, that we have to look to see if we have to pop open the door?
I'm confident Ms. Chapelweith would have told us if there was some secret to get in. She wants us to do this as much as we need to.
Yeah.
They unlocked it, but it seems they didn't grease the door for us, as it were.
It stands to reason that if Mr. Chapelwaith has recently been interred, this door should not be stuck shut. So, how are we going to handle this here, ladies?
Well, I do have 2 dots of larceny.
Okay.
I'm just looking at it. Does it look like there's anything odd about it, or it's like, is it something as simple? Oh, there's like a door stop in or something like that.
You can tell that the chain itself is the primary deterrent and the only visible deterrent. Whatever, it stands to reason, whatever old you can see, like the plate for the keyhole is still the original plate for the keyhole here in the door. It hasn't been upgraded to any kind of deadbolt. So this is it's OG door construction.
Okay.
Yeah. So nothing strikes you as out of the ordinary right now upon cursory examination, and I'm not going to have you roll for it.
All right. Celia knocks.
The door does not do anything.
Worth a try. Thought I'd ask if we could come in. You never know. All right. Any other ideas?
Yeah, Nyx also has Sense the Unseen, and if she could activate it now to see if something supernatural is holding the door shut from them.
Go ahead and roll your resolve in aspects.
Okay. That is 3 successes.
3 successes. Alright, so Nyx, your vision changes in a similar manner to Celia's. You get that sense of resistance. Everything is hazy, and then everything comes back into focus. Much more dead and somber, gray entropy. You all are swimming in entropy right now. But you see here, there's actually a pair of hands sticking out of the door. You can see through the hands themselves, but they're wispy. They're almost non-existent. But they are clutching the handles of the door from inside the mausoleum.
Oh, there's our problem. We seem to have a spirit who doesn't want us to enter.
Can
They don't
I
want house guests.
do the binding fetter?
The bind the fetter.
The
binding fetter.
Yeah, it's free. Dice pools are Wits and Oblivion.
Okay, let me
I get to.
Yeah, let me double check this. I'm not 100% we'll say familiar with the Hecata track of Oblivion. This is my first time running anything having to do with the Hecata or even touching the Hecata. So I'm my familiarity with the Oblivion powers for the Hecata.
So this one is the vampire closes their eyes. Upon opening them, the irises of their eyes display a dull reflection of their surroundings, and they can identify objects or locations important to ghosts.
Gotcha. I got ya.
Knowing if an object is a fetter allows a necromancer to better manipulate the ghost.
Understood.
Speaking of, out of curiosity, does anyone else have Compel Spirit?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Oh wait, in my rituals I do.
Okay,
Yes,
yep,
yes.
that's what I was wondering.
Okay.
Yeah, I have Summon Spirit, Awaken the Homuncular Servant, and Compel Spirit.
Okay.
So Cherubina, you are going to activate the binding fetter.
Yep, and that's free.
Yep.
And that's I gotta check here again what that one is. Is a Wits and Oblivion, so it's 6 dice.
Well, no, the binding fetter is. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Necromancer is attracted. No, I'm not seeing a die roll here in the book.
This dice pool's Wits and Oblivion, even though its cost is free.
Gotcha. Well, no, the binding fetter does not have a dice pool listed in the rule book on page 204.
It does. It's under mine. It says Wits plus Oblivion. On mine.
Really, it doesn't on mine either.
Not in my PDF.
In my PDF, it does.
Huh.
Nope. Cost free. On activation, the user's senses become supernaturally attuned to the energies of the fetter.
Does it say duration, variable, see difficulty effects?
No, it says duration 1 scene.
Are you looking at one of the manuscripts?
I might be, but I bought this. From the.
I don't know.
Okay.
GM, what do you think?
Your storyteller's rule book was purchased. Actually, this was a print on demand here from Drive-Thru RPG, and no, it has nothing listed there for duration or anything else like that. Yeah, this is a freebie. Okay.
Oh. Yeah. See, I got mine through the Kickstarter.
Okay.
Maybe it's been updated since?
Maybe.
I will have to go look.
Yeah.
So I just gassed it, I guess.
Yep, you're fine. And so here you close your eyes and you are trying to focus on the ghost in front of you. You're trying to sense where its attachment might be. You open your eyes, and you get a sense that this ghost's fetter is inside the building. You think it might be some sort of a personal effect. A piece of jewelry, maybe a ring or a watch.
Oh, well, we have something in here that we can get.
But it's inside, and you are outside.
Hmm.
Well, we still need to get in.
Yes.
Yeah. Do I have to? I'm wondering if I have to do the jump through with Oblivion.
Nyx is gonna go up to the door and greet the spirit and see if it'll talk back.
Okay.
Hello. Are you one of the
No,
that
you're.
last name just exit the
Chapelwaith.
Chapelweights. Are you one of the Chapelweights?
So the hands there holding the door.
I get that more than you might think. You say it's Fetter's inside.
Yes.
That's disappointing. That doesn't help us. We are working for the other Chapelweights. We're here to help. If you would just let us inside.
You get a sense of you get an unspoken sense of hesitation there. This thing is not used to being acknowledged, spoken to, at all. I want you to go ahead and you are going to roll charisma and persuasion for me, please.
That's a shame. I'm not very good at that.
Stop eating dead people. Learn.
I'm pretty solid at it.
I got.
You want me to try? I'll see how you do.
Okay, I got 1 success.
I'm pretty good at it. So upon hearing you start trying to talk to it, Celia's gonna step and go, "We won't be long. We've been asked to help figure out how Reginald died. We're just here to give his wife a bit of peace of mind. Opal hired us. Can we come in, please?"
The hands stay attached to the doors, or the handles of the door there, and a head pokes through. It is a younger gentleman. You'd place him maybe in his mid to late 20s. Fashion appears to be more. He might have died somewhere in like the late 70s, early 80s, where the wide flare lapels hadn't quite gone out of style yet. But this younger ghost sticks his head out, and you can tell that dried up, crusty old bitch to kick rocks.
Oh.
Mind if I ask why?
Why do you think I'm here?
Something's keeping you here.
Opal wants to know why Reginald died. Oh, I've got him on speed dial, and trust me, Reginald ain't gonna be talking to no fucking vampires that my ex-wife has decided to come dragging out of the woodwork to get her to do her dirty work for her. I don't fucking think so. So, I think we're done here. You're not getting in.
So, what did Opal do to you? Other than just being a bitch, I guess.
Cyanide, I think. Arsenic, one of the two.
Oh my.
So, you think she did Reginald in too?
I don't want to give you any prejudice my family's fucked up, and I hope you know that.
I gather.
And I personally really do not like kicking around here any more than I'm sure you like being here right now. So why don't you go away, leave me to my misery, and you can go tell Opal that whatever you need to do, or whatever you need to tell her to get her to back off. And I see Nyx. Yes?
Nyx activates Aura of Decay to crumble the door so they don't have to deal with the ghost anymore.
I was gonna keep being polite, but all right. You can be proactive.
Okay. Aura of Decay.
The ghost flipped Nyx off. She is
Throwing our powers around.
She's not
I love
feeling
it, by the way.
cordial.
Since I can't hear anything, are you guys telling me what's going on? Because I'm just like, I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, while Celia was having the conversation, Nyx would have filled Cherubina in.
I'm like, does he want to haunt Opal?
Yeah, I was gonna offer to go in and get his fetter.
Yeah.
And leave it at the mansion so he could haunt Opal. But I love the idea of you just crumbling the doors because you're annoyed.
Yep. Okay. Let's see here.
That is another rouse check.
Yeah. Yeah, you go ahead and one rouse check, and this is it's technically difficulty 2 now. So yeah, just stamina and oblivion, please. After your rouse check.
Yeah, I got hungrier again. I'm gonna have to notch on some of these corpses inside once we get in. Stamina plus oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
That's 6 with 3 hunger.
I like how I had this big witchy seance thing planned, and now we're fucking up a ghost house. I love this.
I'm really glad.
The seance.
Oh, this is good. I'm loving this shit.
I'm really glad I used where the shroud thins because that was 2 successes.
Ooh. All right. So, you hit it. Anyone who still has Sense the Unseen active and is actually using it, or is any way, shape, or form perceiving the spirit world right now, sees this sickly black oily sludge just start to creep from Nyx's body along the ground, from her hands, from her eyes. It just whirls and twirls on the ground and through the air in little wisps if it doesn't settle. And you see the door start to, in the spirit world, start to just break off, flake away into nothingness. It's as if it was never there. But in the real world, you see this black, sturdy, wrought iron door. You see it start at the base, but it slowly starts to oxidize and rust. And before you know it, the entire door has just crumbled to orange, red, and brown powder. And the ghost is standing there holding now thin air. And you now see that he wasn't buried with his pants on.
Nyx looks at him holding thin air and says, "You look ridiculous."
Hi, I'm sorry. We are burning moonlight. And she's going to sort of step past him a little bit and say, I will find your fetter and leave it at the Chapelweight Mansion so you can haunt Celia. Not Celia, I'm Celia. Haunt Opal if you want.
So you actually walk through him as you
Yeah.
Okay.
I can actually, with the binding fetter, because I turned that on before you went through the door.
Mm-hmm.
I can actually, if I pop my head in, I can find the fetter too.
Yeah, and
Cool.
now that you can actually see inside the building, Cherubina, there's this mausoleum has you can see where there's certain sections where it's just the urn brick put into the wall, but you can see that further away towards the back, you can see this very white faint glow come from around the outer edge of the masonry work where his coffin might have been slid into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Cherubina can definitely see where his casket or coffin is. So Celia, you pass through, and you know that he's there, and you can see him, and being present when in the same space as a ghost, when you know they're there, is never a fun thing, even for a Samedi. It's arguably that the Samedi, this is your wheelhouse. You inside this mausoleum, inside this necropolis, the Loa are definitely strong here. But you pass through him, and next you can see him kind of like shiver and fade in and out a little bit as Celia passes through. But he as unpleasant as that was for Celia, it's clear that wasn't very pleasant for him either.
Celia's going to turn back and go, would you like that if you got to hunt Opal?
Oh, don't do that again. Oh. A dead thing walking through a dead thing is never fun.
Oh, you can get out of my way next time.
And Cherubina is just seeing this conversation, or seeing one part of the conversation unfold in front of her.
I probably would look a little insane to most people, but you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And I think maybe even as just as a little artistic point here, maybe when Celia passed through the ghost, maybe you got anyone seeing her would get that faint hint of what she actually looks like. But then it's trick of the light, nothing more. Speaking of light, there is just we'll say some very low orange dim like LED lights that have been kind of like strung up along the ceiling. Cherubina can, of course, can see the light coming from the ghost's fetter. And it is illuminating the room a little bit, at least as far as Cherubina's perception goes. But Nyx and Celia, since you both have Sensing and Seeing active, I'm going to say that in here you aren't going to suffer from many, like, we'll say, low light penalties, just because of the fact that you're Hecata. You're in a mausoleum. You can see dead shit. This is easy. So, from here, the ghost does seem to kind of consider Celia's words. You know, that's actually a capital idea. Yeah. Here, follow me. And of course, Cherubina sees the ghost lead Nyx and Celia further in, and he is taking them to the spot on the wall where his casket would be, that Celia can, or Cherubina can see the light from. And he's, here you go.
Is this you or Reginald?
It's me.
All right, I'll get your fetter, and then I don't actually need to talk to Reginald. I just need to look at his corpse. I don't know if my sisters have anything else in mind.
Oh, I would like to look at his corpse too. I'm feeling a little famished after that.
Oh, I meant like I'm literally going to just look at it.
Yeah, that's all we're gonna do.
That's all I'm going to. We won't eat any of your relatives.
I would hope not. That's.
I'm just gonna get your fetter now.
And
yeah.
It's like a ring. You said?
Yeah, it's. You get the impression that it is a small piece of jewelry worn on the hand or wrist.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
yeah, I'll pull out the casket for Cherubina, and yeah.
Well, when you inter a casket in a mausoleum like this, that front plate is like sealed. So
all right.
Yeah, you were gonna have to do a little B&E or something creative to actually get this open.
Break and entry.
Well, this isn't the first time we've had to get into a mausoleum or anything like that. So I imagine we have a tire iron or something with a good hard edge that we can use. And let's see. I have resilience. Unfortunately, I dumped strength. But
anyone wanting to add some or put some elbow grease into this, it would be a strength and athletics, and the person with the second highest dice pool can assist, I guess, and give like an extra bonus die.
I can try our aura of decay as well on it.
Would they not have opened it for us? They knew we were coming.
They knew you were coming for Reginald. They didn't know you were coming for this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Very valid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna blood surge.
Yeah, I only have
made a
one
promise
die in
to this
strength
guy
and
now.
athletics.
Okay.
Fail. So I'm now at 2 hunger.
Yep. Celia, I'm gonna be requisitioning your beast's voice. Actually.
Okay.
So just future reference. I have your beast plan. I just have to get the logistics to work.
All right.
She said ominously. All right. So yeah, go ahead. Strength and athletics.
Three successes?
3 successes.
Yes.
Alright, so you will the vitae into your arms to make your muscles stronger, denser, harder. You slam, we'll say you had a crowbar. You've got random odds and ends and tools in the back of that minivan. You got a crowbar, you crink, and you lean into it, lean, and then you hear a crack, thud, as the stone plate falls to the floor. It does not shatter. This is nice, sturdy stone. But the ghost kind of leans up against the wall, crosses his arms. Alright, just don't do anything that is going to piss me off, please. Who's going to do the honors?
I mean, I'll pull it out.
Okay.
And Cherubina, since she has the binding fetter side up, can go fishing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And,
you want me to
try
go fishing? Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'll just sort of try to keep Nyx away from this particular corpse, since its owner is right by.
No, this corpse isn't fresh, so I don't think it would be any good anyway.
No.
I was thinking of Reginald.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm very hungry.
Don't we have some bits and bobs from the last incident? Or did you eat those? Talking about the time that the last time we went out, I shot somebody.
It's in character banter.
Shot me. Or did you eat them already?
Oh no, I did eat those on the way here.
Okay.
Sorry.
I would rather as this conversation can happen while Cherubina is fishing, but
yeah, I'm just like...
I would rather you didn't sample Reginald. They might come look at him again if the family drama keeps going.
I suppose you're right. I will.
It would be really awkward.
Go wanting for a little bit longer.
Thank you, sister.
We will glaze over the details other than this is an old corpse. And you do happen to find Cherubina. You know what, Cherubina? Actually, go ahead and roll me a intelligence and investigation or a wits and insight, please.
Okay, hang on. Let me just leave that there.
Yep. Whatever.
Wits and insight or what? Intelligence or
intelligence and investigation or wits and insight. Whatever one of those two is higher.
Let's see, intelligence and investigation is 4, and wits and insight is also 4. So
okay. And hunger 1. Just a reminder.
2 successes.
2?
Yeah.
Okay.
6 and a 7.
Okay, so you know where to look, mostly because the item itself is glowing almost white hot to your eyes at this point in time. It appears to be a wedding ring. The stone in it is a rather large diamond. It's white gold. No engravings or any other fancy markings along with it. It's very clearly a man's wedding ring. Yes, indeed, as you're digging, he was at least buried with some skivvies on, but for whatever reason, he just... maybe this was a rental suit or some other kind of he wasn't buried with his actual clothes. This does happen from time to time, depending on circumstances at the funeral homes. But you'll have to whatever inferences as far as why he was buried half dressed could be a multitude. But Cherubina, you see the ring, and almost as soon as you put your hand on it and you take it off his finger, the white light stops. And those of you who can still see the ghost in front of you, as soon as Cherubina grabs it, he fades away, just his arms crossed, just sternly looking at the two of you, almost as if to say, "Don't touch my body." And this is where we will take our break. So go ahead, everyone. Go. Spend about 5. We'll take about 5 minutes here, intermission wise. Hydrate. Get some snacks. Take care of yourself. We'll be back in 5 minutes. See you then. And welcome back from intermission. This is Psychopomps Incorporated. We have diverted significantly from where the storyteller had initially planned on this going, but you know what? This is fun, and I'm loving every second of this. So we're coming back with the coterie, having done a little breaking and entering inside of a mausoleum. The objective here initially was to talk to, I'm sorry. You weren't going to talk to Reginald's spirit. You were going to examine the corpse to try to get a better sense of what exactly was going on. Because Reginald's spirit is not currently present here at the mausoleum. But the coterie did also encounter a ghost of one of Reginald's relatives here, and maybe shed a little bit of light as far as what's going on with the coterie's current patron, Opal Chapelweith. So now the coterie has obtained the fetter for this particular ghost and have plans for it. Whether or not they intend on sticking up to their end of the agreement, however, remains to be seen. But now, one fetter richer, they are now going to examine the corpse of Reginald Chapelwaith III. The section here for the we'll say the more recent residents of the mausoleum has you can tell the stonework doesn't quite match up the plates. Hold on a second. There. The plates for the where these coffins go, it's a slightly different style than what you would see in the other sections. But that being said, there is a temporary plastic cap over where Reginald's coffin is currently stored, so there's no need to bust out the crowbar again here, Celia. Oh, do we have a cat over there? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, there's a cat off screen, and it is very clawy. All right, so once again, we are going to we're gonna spare the details here, but I'm assuming that the group has pulled out Reginald's casket and they are giving his body a once-over?
Indeed.
Okay. So, let's see here. Celia has CSI shit.
Yeah, she is the first 3 dots of the Baron sheet.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so you have CSI shit. Nyx what does Nyx have in regards to the dead bodies? Nothing special other than the medical?
Viscous, she can eat it.
Oh,
she can't do much to examine it though.
That is true. And then Cherubina here. What does Cherubina have in regards to the dead body?
I have medicine, and then that's about it.
Okay.
I can I have for rituals summon spirit, awaken the homuncular servant, and compel spirit.
Okay.
Oh right, I'm sorry. I could also raise it as a zombie.
Yeah.
I hope we don't have to do that. I'll know the cause of death when I see it.
Alright, so, Descendants of the Baron. This is page 222 of Cults of the Blood Gods.
The PDF. That's the PDF.
Yeah, well, it's in the, yes.
Oh, okay, cool. That does line up pretty well. That's cool.
Yes. So, as one of the Baron's children, you've learned a few tricks about death. You know about how, you know a lot about corpses. By carefully examining a mortal corpse, you can immediately know the cause of death. If the death is supernaturally concealed, you gain the ability to roll despite that. Okay. With this here, those of you without CSI shit, definitely go ahead and do an intelligence and medical. Or intelligence and medicine.
Intelligence and medicine.
Yep.
Can I add my die for cadavers?
Yes, you may.
Great.
Hang on a minute.
Because we know that applies.
Intelligence is that, medicine
Which one
is
did I
this,
have?
so...
Yes, I have a feeling Nyx is going to be using that specialty a lot this chronicle.
I have 2 successes.
Okay.
1 success.
1 success and 2 successes. All right, so
It's a dead body.
Yep, it's a dead body. If you're actually going to physically manhandle it, it is as described. There, the back of the head is, we'll say, compromised. I'm not. Yeah, but we're not gonna get too bleh here. Dead body. All right, blunt force trauma, back of the head, as described. Nothing spectacular. Now, Celia, you know a thing or two about dead bodies. Now, you are taken in the back of the head. This is this is something that either the medical examiner missed or it was intentionally concealed, but he was definitely bludgeoned. Now, as far as the anemia goes, it's hard to say if how or why or if it even contributed to his cause of death. That is a suspicious detail that you were not able to really figure into the equation, because cause of death was the fact that someone caved in the back of his head.
So I would know if it was supernatural. This is mundane.
This is mundane.
Okay.
Okay. So,
she looks up at her sisters and informs them that, well, someone got, a little carried away, maybe, and broken the back of his head, but this is murder.
Oh.
if you were to guess, Celia, maybe this wasn't like an instrument of some kind. Maybe maybe some kind of an ornamental decoration of some kind, a paperweight. This was a cue ball off of a billiards table. This is something not like a candlestick or a baseball bat, or even a crowbar or a lead pipe. This was something that this was a hard round object that someone. Yeah, this was an improvised thing.
All right. She relays the relative size and shape of said object and says, and if I may, I do love my crime drama. I think this was an attack of opportunity. So not planned, not something that someone that uses cyanide would do.
Interesting. Improvised murders like this tend to be the easiest to catch. Cherry.
Yes.
Are there any fetters on his person at the moment?
Is this scene still going?
This is we'll say it's a new scene, but we've determined that it's a free activation, at least right now, until we can determine.
Yeah, it
this.
is.
Yeah,
So.
in that case, Nyx will just activate it herself because she also has it.
Okay. All right. So, Nyx, you close your eyes. Maybe your hand drifts down to the body and touches it ever so gently, almost lovingly.
Absolutely.
Not the your sisters have seen the brutality that you can inflict on someone or something, but there's a soft side to Nyx as well, and it just unfortunately Nyx's tenderness right now is focused on this cadaver in front of her and not something that would actually appreciate her ministrations. But you don't feel anything. There's no fetters here, at least on the body. You're sure that if you wanted to open up and expand your focus, it would stand to reason that there's probably several other fetters within this mausoleum, but you would require a a rather large, inconvenient amount of time to go through the process of extracting them all.
Right.
But in this case here, Reginald, if he has a fetter, it is not here.
Nyx will relay that to the others and say, perhaps there will be something at the house that will help us more than on his person. There's nothing here, unfortunately.
Yep.
Or he might have passed.
Maybe. I suppose it's good to stay optimistic.
So we could, unless there's any other business here that we had with Reginald's body, we could probably...
Let's go talk to...
Actually, you know what? Hold on a second. Nyx, roll me a willpower, please.
Uh-oh.
You're at hunger 3.
I am...
You only need 1 success. This body has been processed. Okay,
I've
you
been
only
rolling
need 1
pretty
success.
good.
Yeah. This is willpower, though.
That is.
Yeah.
4 successes.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, you maybe get a little tickle in the top of your gum line there, where your fangs are wanting to. We'll have to discuss this out of character later, exactly how your teeth present themselves. But however it happens, it happens. But you almost smile and grin and bear it. Reginald's body, at least for now, shall remain unspoiled. I'm assuming that we're going to clean up after ourselves here.
Yep.
Okay.
As best we can. I mean, we broke into that other crypt, so.
Yeah, are we going to attempt to conceal that?
I mean, we'll kind of put the thing back.
Yeah.
And maybe let
Clearly.
Opal know that in the course of our investigations, we realized we had to look at another corpse. Or not, in case she is responsible and we don't want to tip her. What do you guys think?
I thought we were talking about the gate that I crumbled. I was just going to blame that on
I wasn't
teenagers.
even worried about that.
And then we could just say the teenagers broke into the other container.
Then we won't do that. It was like that when we got here.
Yeah,
promise.
it was like that when we got here. Kids these days.
We can also say that it was one of his kids or whatever.
Oh,
I don't know if he had kids. Not exactly sure.
Confident there are lots of people that would want to get in here. Grave robbers, all sorts of awful people.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Terrible.
And maybe some of them also took some of the flesh off of Reginald's body.
Yeah, you know, I
Nyx
don't
looks
think
at
we need
Celia.
them. I don't think we need them looking for a cannibal right now. Why don't we look for something that might come under less suspicion, less likely to be exhumed?
All right, fine.
I mean, Nyx, the world right now is your literal buffet. If you wanted to spend the time to maybe before the group departs, if you maybe wanted to, if Nyx wanted to scour the site, maybe look for something a little fresher.
I do have a point to make before we do that.
Yes.
This is in the past.
That is correct.
So when we started the scene, we were all at 1 hunger.
Yes.
So
you know what? Yeah, that valid point. We can go ahead and for dramatic effect, if Nyx wanted to go ahead and eat, I can say, we're gonna go ahead. We will fast forward back to where the original intent was and pick back up in the RV outside, or in the minivan outside the house. And if Nyx wanted to, I mean, but we can. I'll be a kind, benevolent storyteller and say you all have reverted back to Hunger 1.
Okay. Yeah, Nyx finds a corpse at some point.
Yeah.
In between now and then, and has a little munch.
Okay, so we've gone and we are back in present timeline here. We are in the minivan. It's raining. The group has gathered all of the information that they've uncovered so far. And they are getting ready to go in and say hi to, or getting ready to go up and get to work, so to speak. That being said, let's go ahead and we will shift our focus to inside the RV, or I mean inside the minivan, as the three Hecata are getting ready to go about their plan here.
So how do we want to do this?
I think distracting her with the show while we search for the actual fetter and possibly the heirloom. They may be one and the same. While we plant... Did we ever learn that spirit's name?
Nope.
No.
While we plant what's-his-face's fetter somewhere, so he can have his fun.
Actually, as an aside, there would have been a nameplate, on the casing there.
Okay.
His name was.
I have a name.
If you have a name, then by all means.
Rexford.
Rexford Chapelweith. I like that. Rexford. I like Rexford. I thank you very much, Cat. The Cat is always slick and quick with the name drops. I like it. Thank you. So
Family genealogy too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That works.
For what it's worth, Nick still calls him what's his face.
What's his face?
He's not.
He's Rex.
Yeah,
he's not.
He's Mr. Rex.
So Rexford.
The point is, put on a show, distract her, give her what she's expecting while we do the actual work without her paying attention to us.
Uh-huh.
I, for one, would really like to... She found him dead in the bathroom, right?
Yep.
I, for one, would really like to get a look at the bathroom. I feel like I could find some interesting information in there that the body was lacking.
As well.
Sure. At a game, Nyx has an advantage called Send a Murderer. Shoot, here it is. Yours. Well, we won't read the flavor. We'll save that for spicy times when it comes up. But basically, you get 2 extra dice on rolls to study murder scenes or track down killers. So if this was a murder scene, Nyx would very much be interested in checking it out, both in character and for mechanical benefits.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I'll distract her with a good old-fashioned seance, and you guys can go look for some heavy balls.
Perfect.
Swing for the fences. All right, so the group gets out of the minivan. What's everyone wearing tonight? This is an important question. We are getting ready to work and put on a show, and I love Nyx's outfit. Are we appearing as we are on screen right now? Yep. You are muted.
It is important. Do I know if this will be a private seance or if there are other individuals present?
As far as you know, it's supposed to be just Opal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I won't do the whole spiritualist strip examine me and change into black clothing. I'll just stay as I am.
Mm-hmm. And God bless the Zoom chat. Thank you. But with this here, then the front yard of the Chapelweith Manor is very well manicured. You aren't walking up a front, a sidewalk or anything paved up to the front door. No, you were walking through the finest crushed gravel that money can buy. The entire landscaping job here is, a a small family could probably eat comfortably off of what the Chapelweighs spend in landscaping every year. But that being said, the older facade of the house does kind of loom like a dried up fly that's kind of sat there too long in a car windshield in the summer. It's just, you can just sense the decay and rot just inside the very core of this family. You're almost getting, House of Usher vibes here. But who's going to be the one to knock?
I will knock on the door.
Yes, because Cherubina has been the primary point of contact with Miss Chapelwaith. So you knock on the door, and it is a very firm, sturdy front door. You would need some sort of an implement or potence if you wanted to try to force this thing open. But after a moment or two passes, almost to the sense, or almost to the point of it being seen, or being seeming like you were being kept waiting out in the rain intentionally longer than necessary, the front door opens, and greeting you is a very very no-nonsense, very bland, almost, if tapioca were a person, it would be this individual. But you get a sense of just the fact that they've lived here in the house for quite some time, serving the Chapelweighs. But so the butler opens the door, and he kind of looks across the three of you. Oh, yes, you're the group that Miss Opal is expecting, I would assume.
Yes. We are Psychopomps Incorporated.
Yes, of course, and you are Cherubina Orsini.
Yes, I am Cherubina Ursini.
And Miss Greenwood and Miss Nix, I believe.
Yes, they are. This is Miss Nix, and this is Miss Greenwood.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, ladies. If you would please follow me. My mistress is expecting you. Please, is anyone bothering with like the raincoat or any kind of umbrella or anything?
No, I think it adds to the flavor of what we're doing here if we're not, right?
She has a lace umbrella.
Like a parasol almost?
Parasol. I mean, it like does protect against the rain, but still.
I like the very much for it's a fancy umbrella, but he the butler does seem to gesture towards you, Cherubina, as if, may I?
Yes.
And he takes
the umbrella.
He takes the umbrella, the parasol. He doesn't open it inside the house, but he does, give it a few shakes, and he sets it next to the front door there. Now, Miss Opal is expecting you in the parlor. Now, it has been a very trying time for the family, and I would strongly urge you to please make your business with Miss Opal as quick and efficient as possible. She does need her rest. Like I said, it's been a very trying couple of weeks.
Of course.
And if you would please follow me. And he leads the way through the entryway. I suppose in this type of a house you would call it a foyer, and you would make sure to pronounce it foyer and not foyer. But
Vestibule.
A vestibule, if you will, even. Yes. Let's bust out the $5 words. This kind of house warrants the big vocabulary, actually. But the floor itself is polished waxed hardwood. You can see your reflection in it, and if you were La Sombra, that might be a little problematic right now. But that being said, yes, the three of you don't have that issue. And he leads you in. The parlor itself is probably the most used room in the house, going off of just how well worn and actually well cared for the space is. There's several, we'll say, plush red velvet sofas, lounge chairs, love seats, etc. Whatever fancy seating utensil you wish to use, you may do so. But the lighting, per the group's request, of course, is low, very muted. The only sound that you hear is the faint ticking of a grandfather clock from back in the foyer. The house itself is that silent. All you hear is the talk, talk, talk. A few minutes pass, and you do presumably have the room to yourself.
Well, ladies,
Down.
Nyx is gonna reach out with the no. Yeah, I'm back at one hunger. Nyx is gonna reach out with where the shroud thins, just in case.
yeah, and I'm gonna activate Sense the Unseen, just in case Reginald's hanging around.
Okay. Is Cherubina going to be using any powers or doing anything here special?
Let's do the binding fetter, just to see how many fetters are in the room.
Alright. We've got a lot of Oblivion popping off.
Yeah.
We're gonna...
And I have roused my blood.
Okay.
Just to
Alright, so
see
you're...
on the level there.
Alright.
I did my rouse check and I got a success finally.
Okay. Alright, so we will we'll go in order declared. We'll start with Nyx first. You are using what power?
Where the shroud thins.
Okay.
Which is Wits plus Oblivion, I believe.
Yep. Go ahead and you did make your rouse check. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Four successes.
4 successes. This roll is doing quite well for you this evening.
Yeah, I'm going to use a dice spot from now on. They're much nicer to me than my regular dice were.
I'll let your dice hear you say that.
They're miles away. They can't hear me.
So, the three of you watch as Nyx does her thing again. She closes her eyes, she centers, she focuses. Yeah, you get the sense that she's steeling herself. She reaches her hand out, whiffs through, ping, and it is almost as if someone has... it's almost as if a gangrel actually has scraped their claws across a chalkboard. You get this sense of something breaking, and the Nyx herself can see it clear as day, and with as powerful as it is, even Celia and Cherubina, even though they Cherubina earlier could see clearly just because she was assisting, but even Celia can get the sense that this house is evil. This house is tainted, Nyx. Every single corner that you see in this room has something malicious seeming to be lurking in the darkness. You get the sense that this house it could potentially be dangerous. At least right now we can say that the shroud in this house is frayed, perilously close to becoming a problem for the coterie. Celia, go ahead and make your Resolve and Aspects roll.
Are you sure it's Resolve in Aspects?
Or you were using Sense the Unseen, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay. Was that? I thought that was Resolve and Aspects.
I thought it was. Oh, I'm probably mixing up with something else. I just want to double check.
Yep.
Now that I've said
By all
something.
means, please do so.
Wits and Aspect or Resolve and Aspects. Resolve is a better pool for me.
Then
so
go
with
ahead
your
and do
permission,
that.
I will do that.
Okay.
Four successes.
Celia, that was a really bad idea. It's the earlier in the cemetery, it was like passing through cheesecloth. Here it is like swimming through mud, except it's almost the abyss itself. You almost seem to feel clinging to your sight. And the walls in this room, Celia, are dripping blood. There is a... You don't necessarily see it in here right now, but you get the sense that this room is the lair for something very dead and very evil. You see ribbons of black and red viscera just striped all over the room, almost like a spider web. This here, you get the sense that there's definitely a lot of spiritual turbulence. There's a fetter in the house that is very powerful. It's almost as if measures have been taken to supernaturally conceal it from anyone wanting to pry their eye at it. You know it's not here.
Mm-hmm.
You get the sense that it is below you. Maybe a basement? Because you're on the ground floor. The part of the house that you're in, you could, at least from the outside, you could see was 3 stories tall. Now, Louisiana don't typically have basements down here.
Maybe it's a root cellar or something.
Mm-hmm. So, just food for thought there, Cherubina. So, how are we going to proceed here? By all means, definitely spend a moment or two doing some in-character banter, describing the room.
As Celia
something...
and Cherubina are doing their thing after sussing out the fetter, Nyx did sit down on a nearby couch and just started doing her nails. while she waited
She's
for the rest
like-
to be finished.
Looking down, she goes, "There's something very lovely below us."
There's a lot of really questionable things around us.
Yes, the shroud is almost in tatters here.
Well, there's it looks like you're sitting on like a bleeding centipede or a spleen or something.
Nyx
And
grins.
Like a lot of gore on the walls, and this storyteller, when you said this is something's there, did you mean the house or this room?
Yes.
We should not stay here longer than we need.
My great grandmother would definitely like this house then.
I mean, dead girls have more fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think we should have too much fun here. We don't want to attract anything's attention
Okay.
And almost
more
as
than
if-
need.
almost as if on cue, you hear the door of the parlor open, and it's that grim, sallow-looking butler, and he is presenting Miss Opal Chapelweith to you here. So Opal, I actually have a description for her written down. Opal is a stern, edgy woman with graying black hair pulled into a stylish bun. She appears to be in her late 60s, but you get the impression she's trying to dress a few decades younger. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this particular setting, in her home turf, it's definitely working for her. You would be hard pressed to spot her as being younger than 40, at least right now, but you know for a fact that she's significantly older than that. It's just in her bearing and her manner, how she carries herself, the clothing combined with the lighting, it seals the deal here. But she can control the conditions. She does let herself be led into the parlor by the butler, but once she's in the room, you get the sense that, okay, she's in charge now. She separates, the butler kind of like fades into the back, and she's looking over the three of you. Which one of you is Cherubina?
I stand up. I am Cherubina. Nice to meet you, Mrs. Chapelwaith.
Oh, and it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Ms. Giovanni. And you must be Miss Greenwood and Ms. Nix.
Yes, it's wonderful to meet you.
Yeah, quite. My friend Melissa has highly recommended you for this particular matter, and we will just get right down to it, as they say. Is that acceptable to you all? I want this bit of business done. I'm assuming that it's just a quick 5 minutes and you're out?
Yes, this will be quick, and I got into my particular line of work not only because of my gifts, but because of my desire to comfort individuals such as yourself. So please, if we could find somewhere with a table and some comfortable seating, I will be performing the seance with you. My compatriots, my sisters, will be moving about the house, getting a feel for it, keeping an eye on things for us. Some very interesting things can happen.
What do you mean, interesting?
Oh, sometimes when you open yourself up to the spirit world, something you don't like might come in. And Cherubina and I will be moving about, as Celia said, to ensure that nothing like that happens to you.
Oh, and yes, I was just corrected. She would have called you Ms. Orsini, Cherubina, not Giovanni Orsini. Yes.
Cool.
Well, if she said
'Cause it was like
Giovanni, you could just like roll with it, and she'd be like, "How do you know this?"
No, I would have. She does not know that you are Giovanni. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Correction.
Cool. I was gonna pull some shit.
Correction.
All right.
Me too. I was just like,
I saw
What?
that. Oh wait, and I'm like, oh, I was waiting for that. I was waiting for the correction to come there. So there, thank you very much, Kat. So no, she would have called you Ms. Orsini. So, that there. I'm sure that this seems highly irregular just on its face. That there certainly can't be ghosts or spirits out there wishing to harm me. That's ridiculous, preposterous even.
Oh, ma'am, I hope you're not a skeptic.
Well, I'm not, but I thought that the spirits wanted nothing but the best for the living. That they loved us and they want to see us do well for ourselves.
It most often is that way. Most often. And you have a lovely home. And Celia walks over and sort of holds her hands. And like, you have a lovely home.
I'm going to take the ring that I have of her first husband and kind of like, is it just us or is the butler in the room? And I'm like,
the
walking
butler's
around?
in the room.
Okay.
Someone who's been in his line of work for as long as he has a way of we'll say disappearing when he doesn't need to be seen, but he's still ever present. It's going to be hard to tell on whether or not if you're going to be trying anything sneaky and suspicious with that ring. It's going to require some.
She's just going to like sit down. She's just going to like sit down and just like absentmindedly take off her ring and like, just set it down and scratch her finger and then
okay,
like just leave it off for a minute.
Okay, that's fine.
Or the ring that isn't hers, actually. She has like 6 dozen, or not 6 dozen, like 6 other rings that she wears. So
clack, 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 clack. I like that. But you've got a lot of jewelry on. That's a pretty nonchalant maneuver. You don't have to roll.
Okay.
Okay, and if you just so happen,
it's like it's right next to her too. I'm like sitting near her. If we're sitting at a table or she's somewhere nearby or whatever.
Okay. All right. No, that's fine. We could just do it here in the parlor. I've got there's a you can actually see that there's like a rather nice coffee table here, and of course, as far as comfortable seating, you would not want for that in this room.
Perfect. And Celia is kind of half suspecting she'll actually have something happen with the Ouija board. Not that most things actually use the Ouija board, but here she's kind of ready to duck if the planchette flies at her.
Understood.
Yeah.
And
so she approaches the table with gravity and grace and pulls out a chair for Miss Chapelweith and says, "Please sit and prepare yourself for what we may learn. Sisters, please do as you must."
Of course.
You were going to say something, Kat?
I was gonna ask, like, is there a way that I can also help by visiting the space in which you found Mr. Chapelwaith in?
Jared can take you to the bathroom that
That
we
would be
found
wonderful.
him in. Yes, of course.
Nix will join
Jared,
me
if you
with
would
us.
please. And he just drifts out of the dark corner that he was hiding in, and
I left my ring there. I didn't pick it up.
right, hold
It's
on.
not my ring. It's
Yep.
ex-husband's ring. Opal.
Yep. She okay? All right. So now that you know that the butler's name is Jared, Jared gestures to the door for Nyx and Cherubina to follow, and Celia is sitting down here in the probably the last place that she wants to be doing this shit in. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna split the party here. I'm gonna start with Nyx and Cherubina's excursion to the bathroom, and we will end this episode with Celia's seance. And that, I think that would be a good opportunity for a nice thematic cliffhanger going into episode 2. But, so Nyx and Cherubina, Jared is taking you through the house. There is, of course, your standard long hallway of stodgy old white bastards who all happen to look relatively the same, up until, of course, the 1950s, and that is when it's, for whatever reason, the patriarchs of the family stopped showing certain genetic trackers. There's even in like the mid 80s, at one point in time, the head of the household was, flaming red hair, and everyone else is brunette in the picture. Every single one of them.
I point out, I'm like, Jared, I'm just curious who the redheaded person is in the photo.
Oh, that right there is Master Norris. Master Norris is Ms. Opal's first husband.
Okay.
And the two of you walking down the hallway, why don't you go ahead and give me a wits and awareness roll? The first one of the Chronicle.
Woohoo! Wits and awareness. What is
Yep.
my wits at, and what's my awareness at? Oh, 5 dice. That's good.
I have 3 successes.
Okay.
Let me put this on a stationary thing here. One success.
All right, so Cherubina. As you're walking down the hallway, you think you might have... Oh, did we pass the picture of the dude in the mausoleum? Nyx. Oh yeah, there's the picture hung up in the hallway, clear as day.
Nyx will stop in front of it, not blatantly pointing it out to Cherry. Although Cherry didn't see him. Well, Cherry saw his body. So she'll stop in front of it without blatantly pointing it out, but just as if something's caught her eye and she's lingering at it for a moment. And just kind of give a sideways glance at Cherubina.
I just kind of look and nod.
And then keep going.
Okay. All right. So the bathroom is it isn't the master bathroom that he takes you to. It's an ensuite off of what you assume is a guest bedroom, because in a place like this, if this was the master bedroom, you'd be greatly disappointed. But even for this being an ensuite onto what is essentially a non-essential bedroom, it is still about the size of an efficiency apartment. You've got a full vanity top, decent, sized mirror that anyone would be more than willing to sit down and do their makeup in. the tub itself is one of those old claw-footed cast iron affairs. And with that, you don't really see any sort of blood stain or anything else here. The bathroom itself is stark white. So if there was any blood on the floor, someone took great lengths to make sure that it's gotten cleaned up properly. But he opens the door for the ensuite, and he motions for the two of you to enter. Yes, Ms. Opal found him here. And he points to a spot on the floor. And we believe that he hit his head here on the countertop. And go ahead, the two of you, give me a intelligence and insight roll.
Can I add
or a wits and awareness?
Oh, wits
That's
and
wrong.
awareness. Can I add my 2 dice for the send a murderer advantage?
Yes. You are. This is a crime scene. Yes, it is.
I got 9 dice.
2 successes. So I had 5, and I got 2 8s, then a 5, 8, 5, 2 5s, and a 2.
I got a 5 crit.
Oh God! Like critical success, or like
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Was that a messy crit or a regular crit?
No, not a messy, just a regular critical.
Okay.
I want messy
Sorry.
criticals. I like those.
Unfortunately, not.
So here in the bathroom, for Cherubina, the way that he's, laying it out, it does seem to be like, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe. I don't know. This would be something you'd almost have to or go through it yourself physically to see if he's actually telling you the truth or not. Nyx, you know, this is bullshit. There is no possible way if he hit his head from behind that, just the way that the body would have been found as it was described, and you would have been given access to, the crime report, or the medical report and everything else. And between the time that you spent already in the morgue system here, and then now seeing this with your own eyes, that shit is stank here, and Opal was right to call. At least, something about this is fishy.
Okay.
And unfortunately, we don't know how long he lay there before Miss Opal found him, but it's a sad state of affairs. You never want to see your husband laying there, or spouse laying there like that. Wouldn't wish that on anybody.
No, I can't imagine. How was the blood cleaned up, Jared?
Oh, the medical examiner took care of that. Bleach, as far as I know. Lots of bleach and hot water.
Makes sense.
And you can see there's plenty of tile work here. This is one of those bathrooms that if you wanted to take a power washer to it, as long as you covered up the wood part of the vanity, you'd probably be fine. But no, it did, bleach and hot water. But so now Ms. Opal has the house all to herself. No one to bother her. unfortunate that Mr. Chapelweight had to pass to have that happen, but I don't know. I've been with the family. I've been with the family a long time, and Ms. Chapelweight, she is a dear, and tragic, really, to lose a spouse like that.
Yes. Terrible.
And what happened to her first husband?
Intelligence and insight from the both of you, please.
Intelligence, insight. Whoa! Let's see, I got a 9, a 10, and a 6.
Okay.
I have 2 successes.
Okay. Cherubina and Nyx, you don't have to go through any kind of training to know that when you said that, he flinched. There was a very noticeable tick when you mentioned the first husband. Little twinge of the cheek. And now we will pivot over to Celia. Like I said, the plot thickens. So Celia, you are seated here in the parlor with Ms. Opal. Describe to me how you are going about setting this up.
Celia sits at the chair next to the one that she pulled out for Miss Chapelweight and says, it is standard protocol that I allow you to search me. It's not unusual for certain customers to want a full body examination and a new outfit. I have something.
That won't be necessary. No, dear, that won't be necessary at all. That's such ridiculousness. No, I trust you.
Oh, thank you.
So like I said, you come very highly recommended, and I'm paying damn good money for this, and I trust that your organization would stand by their bona fides.
I assure you, we are worth every penny. But I would be remiss if I didn't offer you the opportunity to prove the truth of what is about to happen for yourself and your comfort. And Celia will sit down, and she has like a briefcase with her, and she puts it on the table, and there's a lot of different little things in there, but what she pulls out is a very nice Ouija board. Not like something you buy cheap for your high school kids because they want to play around. Like, this looks legit.
One of those Egyptian good luck boards, as they were marketed back in the day.
Sure.
I've got a story for afterwards about that, but yes, continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So she reverently, very reverently takes this out and places it on the table so that they can both place their hands on it. And she looks at the planchette, kind of wishes the point wasn't so sharp, and puts it down where it belongs on the board and sits, sort of straightens herself and says, now, something may happen, something may not happen. However, this was Reginald's home and you were his wife, so I have hope of a good, strong connection. But we should be prepared, since this is your home and that is the connection. Has anyone else died here?
I don't see how that could be completely important in the matter, but unfortunately, yes, this is the family home, and the family is an old family. There's been plenty of generations that have died here in this house.
All right. It is relevant simply in case someone tries to join the conversation. It is helpful simply to know so that I can try to focus on Reginald, which is why you are important in this particular matter.
Oh, okay, I think I understand. You can't control who talks to you. I get that, I guess. It makes sense. I mean, Reginald can't be the only ghost out there. I do know that he's still with me somehow in spirit, and I would ever so love to know how he died.
I hope we can find that for you. All right, then. Please sit with me. Place your hands here. And, place hands. And think on your dear husband and the question we are asking, which is how he died. And should we make contact there, I hope you have a chance to speak with him a little more on whatever you may, as his wife, want to discuss. But let's start there.
All right, I think I'm ready, yes. She closes her eyes and she does as she's instructed.
Good. And Celia does not close her eyes. She is looking around and she still has Sense the Unseen up. And she says, "Oh, spirits, come and aid us in the answer to this question. How did Reginald Chapelwaith pass?"
Okay, are you going to be activating any powers at this time?
I'm not sure what I have that would actually be super relevant.
Okay.
I have Sense the Unseen, I have Premonition, I have Fatal Precognition. Would Premonition be helpful in something past?
Actually, yes. Well, here, let me. I got this.
Okay.
Premonition. It's one of those wonderful little Deus Ex Machina powers that I get to have some fun with every once in a while. So, you close your eyes. You open yourself as much as you're willing to do in here.
I am being paid for a service, so I do open myself fully.
You close your eyes. You let your mind wander. You were always able to do this even as a mortal. But when you were embraced and made kindred, your powers grew tenfold. And then your sire started teaching you things, and then your powers grew 100-fold, and now you are a force to be reckoned with, at least by mortal standards. But as you let your mind slip, that call in the blood, that part of you that you share with every other kindred, your beast, recoils in fear for a moment as you feel that ever familiar sense of your mind's eye opening, and you are being granted a vision. You see Reginald as he was as a younger man. And you see him courting Opal. You get the impression it's maybe late 70s, early 80s. And then you get the sense of time moving forward. It's almost like if you've ever been on a roller coaster, it's like your gut dropping right as you get to the top of that first climb, as you're getting let off the chain. But there's Opal and there's Reginald. They're older. It's their wedding day. And you get the sense in your head of their wedding picture. The wedding party all gathered up. It was a Protestant wedding. The Chapelweighs, they're not dirty papists. How dare you imply that? But there's still the wedding party gathered up there at the front. But you get the sense that hovering behind Opal, behind the wedding party, are dead bodies. They're stacked up in body bags, actually. And then you get a brief flash of red hot anger in your mind, and your beast almost screams in fear as a voice fills your head. Get out. And this is where we will end our haunted vampire story for now. Ending on a nice, appropriate little moment here. So, this was episode 1 of Psychopomps Incorporated. I'm Patrick, creative director here at Martlet Games. I would like to welcome or thank everyone for watching. Nice little first trip into the realm of the Hecata, and now that I've royally jacked with y'all tonight, let's say bye and have everyone give your little final parting shot here. Tell us who you are, who you're playing, what you have going on. Bear in mind, I have no idea when this is going to air, so just vaguely mention what you have going on in your life right now, and we'll see how it ties in when this airs. And we'll go ahead and we'll start with Rosie.
Hi, I'm Rosie, regular size mom. You can find me on Twitter at mom_size, where I tweet mostly about RPGs and games that I'm in or games that my friends are in. Sometimes there's little nuggets about my gremlin, but mostly it's about RPGs. And you can find me every Thursday over on Vorpal Tales. We're finishing up our Star Trek game this week, and we're starting Pathfinder next week. So, it'll be fun. Nice change of pace. And then I'm starting on Sundays over at Vorpal Tales, playing Cult with them. So that's going to be awesome.
I do love
I'm
me
really
some
looking
Cult.
forward to it. I've never played a long game of Cult. I've only played like one-shots and like a 3-arc thing. So I'm looking forward to it. Also, keep an eye on Carrion Comfort Studios for stuff I'll be doing with them. It's going to be a blast.
Just generally assume, you and Carrion Comfort it's like Wes just like lights up the Rosie signal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like,
so, yeah, you can
be in our thing. Be in my thing. Help, please.
So you can find me doing some stuff here on Martlet with Pat. You can find me doing stuff on Vorpal Tales with the awesome folks there. You can find me on Carrion Comfort Studios doing awesome things over there. And you can check out the V5 one-shot I ran on Gehenna called Fangs in Space. So check that out on Gehenna Gaming's VOD, or it should be on YouTube soon. Check it out.
Okay. And next up, we'll go over to Kat. You're muted.
The heck?
There you go. I can hear you now.
Okay. I wasn't muted with that. I muted myself and then I unmuted myself. And I muted myself and I was like, why am I muted? Hi, I'm Kat. I'm playing Cherubina. This is my first Vampire the Masquerade stream. I've been on other streams, a D&D one around comics. I don't know if that's coming back or not. And then a one-shot with Carrion Comfort. You can find me as Deadened Glow on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. And then through Instagram, you can find my knitting page because I knit a lot, and
you're an internet famous knitter, at least amongst
amongst the family.
Can you show us what you're working on? I want updates. I want regular updates.
Actually, you know what? This would actually be a pretty cool thing. Just like at the end of every session, have Kat show off what she was working on. Oh, that is beautiful.
That is super pretty.
It's very pretty.
Yes, this won't be up for grabs by anyone because there's a major mistake in it. I can't bear to part with it after doing that. But I will have other.
Me?
I only know there's a mistake in there, and that's just me.
I will gladly pay money for your fuck ups. How's that sound?
Yeah, there we go. No, I'm keeping this one, but I knit. This is the year of shawls, year and a half of shawls. So right now I'm knitting shawls, and actually anybody can wear a shawl. They're very versatile.
And one of your pieces is currently being shown off on LA by Night. Yes.
Yeah, the episode hasn't aired yet, but you can definitely see Josephine McAdam wear it on one of her
promo images. Yeah.
Promo images. So
it's beautiful. You did great work there.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
It was a gift for her to do with what she wants. So I'm glad she used it in a cool way.
Yes, and it is so cute. It's beautiful stuff. And now we'll go over to Zoe.
Hi, I'm Zoe. This is Kathy, Kat for short, who is tired of me not giving him love. You can find me at Twillick43 on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the social medias. You can also find me over on Carrion Comfort Studios doing a bunch of things. I'm a mod there. I'm on the Discord. I hang out there a lot. I'll also be in some upcoming things that I can't quite talk about yet, but they're coming and they're going to be really fun and exciting. You can also find me on that vampire stream that Rosie talked about. I was a player in that. I played a Ventru, who was a very much different person than Nyx, and that was a lot of fun. So you should definitely check out the VOD or when it comes out on YouTube. It was a very good time. Vampire is a great game and I love playing it. That's all from me.
Okay. And I am Patrick Gill, creative director here, as I said, at Martlet Games. This is the first, we'll say, long-term storyteller engagement I've had in a very long time. I normally just do little one-shots here and there. I help out with other things in the background. I'm on Vancouver Adjacent by Night, which you can catch Saturdays. We're having a time change, so I'm not gonna actually pitch the time right now. Everyone, by the way, has had link trees or Twitters or whatever pop up in the chat, by the way. So I'm making sure to promo everyone as we're going through all this. But yeah, lots of stuff coming out here. This is the first of many shows. When you're seeing this, nobody knows. But love you all. Thanks for watching. We have been Psychopomps Incorporated. Good night.